This is Almond Dino. Okay. Um, Instantly I'm seeing a lot of respect for Gliscor. I don't maybe because Gliscor just looks really good into this team, which yeah, Gliscor does look really good to the team. But you see two Terra Ices from the Raichu, which makes sense because it's an electric type, and also the Iron Shreds probably have to have a boosted ice better. From Dino, looks like he's bringing a lot of his best mods, and the Electrify, which probably looks really good with Motor Drive into his own electric types. Although, funnily enough, it might not want Terra because after it Terras, the Raichu Lula with his Ice Terra can actually hit it for super effective. Uh, I do think Alm is likely to have the Tailwind advantage because it's electric terrain with the Iron Jugglers. Iron Jugglers can get the Core Drive boost either from booster energy or just the terrain itself and have a fast Tailwind. But I don't instantly see a very good way of abusing Tailwind of one of these mods. Maybe the Iron Shreds, but like, yeah, I'm worried about the immediate damage output from Alm's team into what Dino has brought. So you see Iron Jugglers, Raichu into Gliscor Tinkaton. I feel like fake out from both Raichu and Tinkaton is fairly telegraphed. I think Gliscor, if it is the toxic or poison heal set, should just aim to like protect to get it off, which means the Iron Jugglers could get Tailwind off or set up a nasty plot. But yeah, I don't think Dino's in too much pressure right now. Yep, and his booster, Raichu just clicks protect. I don't know if I like this one all. Yeah, so Gliscor manages to get a tailwind before Dracula's even does anything. It's faked out, Raichu just protects for fun. Very good turn from Dino, very bad for all. Dracula's Terror growls to get the tailwind off. Shocking. Okay. Earth Power into Tinkaton. Tinkaton does get finished off by the Hawlucha, but the Gliscor can. I was gonna say Gliscor could just use flying move on the Hawlucha, but apparently it went for Jugulis, which doesn't feel right. Yeah. Okay, it's forced to Terrifier because it doesn't want to. Oh my goodness, Hydro Pump skills it, yeah. Okay. Terrify Heat Wave is nice though, but Ob still has one more turn of Tailwind and 3 Mons while Dino has lost 2 of his. If I want to say where I think it went out of hand already, after a very good turn one for him, he just, I mean, he got red here in terms of like the ground move into the Hawlucha, but I think it was really this turn 3 that was not great. The fact that Gliscor did miss out on the KO on Jugulis, which I don't know how good or bad it was, but it was really unfortunate that Tintin didn't get anything off and Gliscor didn't pick up the KO. Yeah, that just puts it into a really bad spot. So probably on. I was gonna say on this last turn of Tailwind for Om, I would expect to see a double protect from Dino to stall it out, but I guess it doesn't actually matter because these 2 monsters are just like kind of just naturally fast anyways. Hydreigon's always being outsped, especially by the unburdened Alucha. So Heatwave comes out, all goes into protect. Iron Shreds is the last mod. So Heatwave is obviously being clicked. The fact that Hydreigon outspeeds means that it's Scarf Hydreigon, which is pretty bad for Ominous endgame because yeah, I don't think that Surf kills either. Yeah, because it's not boosted, not that strong. The Heat Wave is gonna come out again. The Treads is going to be able to outspeed the Cinderace thanks to the speed drop, but Supercell Slam, even on crit, doesn't manage to kill, which means that Dino has this game one locked out. Yeah, that probably maybe like could or should have gone better. I do think that like I understand wanting to get rid of Gliscor before the Gliscor tries to set up a second Tailwind, but uh yeah, this Hydreigon just ended up being way too much for Arm to be able to handle. Like losing the Hydro Pump on the Iron Jugglers means you just didn't have insane damage into Hydreigon when it mattered. And going for low sweep onto the Cinderace, when you already see that Hydreigon is Terra Fire Heat Wave, um, understand that like Cinderace is naturally faster than Iron Treads, and you might think that okay, Treads should in theory outspeed the Hydreigon. It's also like you kind of need to get the damage into the Hydreigon. You don't have any consistent damage to a levitating Hydreigon. So I think that was probably impactful. Holuja should have tried to either low sweep or just get more damage into the slot so that Raichu could possibly kill it. But yeah, because of lack of damage into it, the Surf doesn't kill. If Halucha had either low sweep, close combat, or accurate into the slot, Hydreigon would either be at -1 speed or possibly dead, and then it might have been a winnable endgame with Pyro Bomb misses. So yeah, I think Arm misplayed by focusing the Cinderace with the Halucha. We on to game 2. Iron Treads is now in the lead with Iron Jugulus. So once again, both players are leading with their Tailwind setters, and Dino is keeping up fake out pressure with the Gliscor, whereas Arm has decided to switch things up with Treads in the lead. Treads in the lead is a nice adaptation into same lead because it can threaten the Gliscor with Terra Ice Ice Spinner, or it can just threaten ground move in Tinkaton. So I do think that that means that Dino is sort of forced to fake out the Iron Treads because you can't really do anything safely with either of these two mons, which means that Jugglers can either just like match Tailwinds, or it can try to rip a Hydro Pump into the Gliscor again. But I would think that Jugglers should Tailwind, Gliscor should Tailwind, and the fake out should go into the Treads. That's what I expect from this turn. Fake out goes into the Jugglers instead, allowing the Tread to get the Ice Spinner off. Yeah, I don't like that from Dino because you clearly see that the Ice Treads, even without needing to commit the Ice Terror, does so much to Gliscor. It hasn't got its Poison Heal activated yet because the Toxic Orb only gets activated now. The highest horsepower was just never killing Treads. Treads is pretty bulky on the physical side, especially. So it's a really awkward spot because now the Jugglers, he has not set up Tailwind because he opted to click high horsepower instead. The Jugglers is going to get a faster Tailwind. The Iron Treads is going to be able to finish off the Gliscor or attack into the Tinkaton if he wants. So all in all, it's a really bad spot for Arm now. I mean, a bad spot for Dino now. Juggler's Terrace, Iron Treads clicks Protect. I'm assuming he clicks Protect because he expects maybe Tinkaton to be able to kill the Treads if he Ice Spins into slot. But I don't think that's even a fair assumption because I don't think Tinkaton, unless it's specifically running a move to hit the Treads, usually it's normal moves like Fake Out, Play Rough, Gigaton. Doesn't actually kill Treads from that range. So I do think that Treads could easily have tried to attack into a slot, but not the end of the world. I think Juggler's getting Tailwind off is good. Ice Spinner goes into Gliscor. Robin comes in. Player off goes into the Robin slot. Does nothing. Electivire comes in. This is concerning because that to me seems to scream that like I don't know if Dino has a specific mod that's able to currently deal with the Treads because you're bringing another on weak mon into the treads on the tailwind. Tinkerton clicks protect. Ice Spinner into the Electivire, reading the Flying Terra, which it doesn't, but it still gets massive damage off onto it. Electivire tries it. Okay. Electivire tries the Helping Hand of Tinkerton to pick off a KO, maybe? If something. Okay, I understand the Draco Meteor, because the Electivire could potentially steal Terra. And it was Terra flying. So in the event that it did choose Terra, Duraludon did live the EQ and would have finished it off. But yeah, the Helping Hand just for the Tinkerton click clear off into the Duraludon. I mean, Dino didn't know that Alm was going to click Earthquake into everything. So you didn't know that the Duraludon would have been that low. But I have a feeling that even with the Helping Hand boost, I don't think Playoff was killing. Yeah, no, wait. We already saw that Playoff did like 20% to Duraludon. Even with the 1.5 boost from Helping Hand, and that's doing 30%. Like, I don't know if that was ever the play from Dino, but yeah, it just looks chopped from his turn one. You're gonna see that the Terrifier is probably locking the Scarf Heat Wave again. Close combat into the Tinkerton. It's good. Procs the White Herb now, so it is gonna be able to outspeed Hydreigon. Yep, low sweep into the treads is somehow still outsped. That means that treads may be running adamant because it should naturally outspeed the Hydreigon with the speed drop. So that means the tread is just not speed creeping the Hydreigon, which is interesting. But yeah, the Jugulis is able to outspeed and clean things up with Hydropon. So yeah, I'm surprised how close this game got, considering that I think that the early game went pretty terribly for Dinosaur. But it just proves that the Scarf Terrify Hydreigon is just really, really good in the matchup. And that's something that has to be watching out for, which probably means that Jugulis with Hydro Pump is probably the biggest threat to that and needs to be preserved. Yeah, let's look at game 3, the adaptation. It's Jugulis treads again, but now the Hydreigon is in the lead with the Tinkerton. That is very scary for Alm is so threatened by the Hydreigon that he just switches out with the boosted energy. And now Dino does what I think he should have done in the turn one, which is the second game, which is just to click Fake Out into the treads. But Dino, recognizing that Iron Jugulis is the biggest threat to his Fire Hydreigon, opts to Draco into the slot, which means it does take out Hawlucha, but now it's locked into Draco and it's -2, which we'll see how abusable that is. Earthquake gets clicked. Tinkerton takes a ton, but it doesn't die. Jugulis should be able to just click Tailwind right now. Yep, it clicks Tailwind, and Earthquake gets clicked, which is, yeah, it was a very safe click from the treads. Vascular Legion might be scarfed, but even if it is scarfed, it's getting outsped by both these mons under the Tailwind. Iron Treads clicks Ice Terra for some reason. Maybe expecting like an Aqua Jet to be threatening. But yeah, with the Tailwind out, Alm is pretty comfortably spamming Earthquake over and over. Yeah, Cinderace does have the Sash though, and does opt to click Tyrell Ball into the Jugulis, which I do agree with, because Jugulis is the biggest threat to the Hydreigon. I do think that Dino can opt to like not Terra and click Heat Wave because, well, actually no, he can't because Iron Treads could Ice Spinner, so he has to click Terra Fire, which means the Jugulis can just rip a Hydro Pump into the slot safely because you could pin it with combo of Hydro Pump plus Ice Spinner because that's how Dino wins this game. If the Tailwind runs out and the Hydreigon just spams Heat Wave over and over. So yeah, the Fire Terra is forced, but the Hydro Pump doesn't get ripped into the slot. which means that the heat wave does get clicked and the tailwind runs out. I I'll see how much. Oh, the heat wave does miss into Raldon though, which allows the T wave to come off. Okay, I do think that probably wraps the game up. Yeah. Oh, the Draco misses, but if this next Draco connects, yeah, it should die. Considering that Raldon had T wave, I don't know if it ever. Uh, okay, let's say the heat wave here connected, it would have been at like 67%, which means the next heat wave it would have been at 30, which means that yeah, with the Draco dodge, Dino could have won. But I think like a heat wave miss for a Draco miss, it works out about even. So I think all on average should have won this game, which is mostly due to the fact that like Dino tried to like instantly snipe the Haluja, or you tried to snipe the Jugulus, and made the call, said, I can't miss the Jugulus, I'm gonna switch out. Which put Dino in a very awkward spot because Tinkerton was just like a sitting duck in the field. It couldn't do anything in treads, it couldn't really do anything relevant to the Terra Jugulus either. And it was just sitting on the field taking EQ after EQ, and the Hydreigon was just forced to switch because it was -2 Scarf. So yeah. An over ambitious play from Dino led to all being able to take advantage of full tailwind turns with Iron Chest spamming Earthquake. So honestly, like probably the most back and forth set we've seen so far. I think that was pretty interesting, pretty honestly overall pretty decent play from both parties as well. Like I did enjoy the set the most.